A Vancouver teacher wins a big prize. Nick Voles shows us how students are printing a piece of the past. Amanda Richter brings us robots. Tara Cox introduces us to some unsung heroes in our schools, and Sergio Mayo inducts us into the Kindness Club. Let's go inside Vancouver Public Schools. Welcome inside Vancouver Public Schools. I'm Coleen Jamison. We have a huge show for you today, full out outstanding teachers and students. But first, let's do our top 3. These are our favorite posts from social media. This one comes from Washington Elementary School. Demetric White captured this image of the school custodian, Brian, having a fun time with kids on the swing set. Mr. White says Brian always puts the kids first and helps build positive relationships. What a great photo. Number 2 comes from Harney Elementary. Students got a visit from the reptile man who brought his collection of creepy crawlers. Among the highlights was a real crocodile that students could pet. After an in-school assembly, families were invited back in the evening. Looks like it was a whole lot of fun there. Our number 1 comes from Geyser Middle School, which just earned platinum status from the state as a green school. It's one of just 3 schools to reach that level. They did it with their aggressive recycling program by turning Geyser Pond into an outdoor classroom and through volunteer hours. They gathered more than a ton of food for the food bank. Congrats to the Grizzlies. Let's start with some great news for us. Skyview High School teacher Tori Sharp was named the High School Educator of the Year by On Point Credit Union. They're now paying her mortgage for an entire year. We went down to Skyview to talk to Tori about the big honor. She teaches English for non-native speakers, and AVID, which is a college prep course. She was recognized for her blend of traditional and non-traditional assignments to get the best out of her students. Of course, she's thrilled to be recognized. We asked her what it was like to hear her name called.
It's the first time I think that I had nothing to say. I had a whole bunch of things I would have loved to say, but when they said it out loud, it was kind of like I was still processing, like, did they call my name, or did I hear it wrong? Or
Tori is a leader at Skyview, leading professional development for her peers, coaching girls wrestling and organizing family engagement nights. She also facilitates volunteer opportunities for students. In addition to her prize, the school will be awarded $2,500 for resources and supplies. This is the 10th year of the On Point Prize, which recognizes educators in Oregon and Southwest Washington. And that's not the only good news. 2 VPS schools landed in the top 25 in the state of Washington. Vancouver iTech Preparatory was rated number 15 in the state by U.S. News and World Report. Vancouver School of Arts and Academics was ranked number 25. That number, 15 ranking for iTech Prep, puts it in the top 3% of high schools in the entire country. U.S. News based its rankings on a number of factors, including college readiness, math and reading scores, graduation rates, and more. 3 other VPS high schools also appeared in the top half of the state and national rankings. It's time now for a WeLearn update, the latest on how students and teachers are using technology in the classroom. Students at Vancouver iTech Preparatory are working to preserve local history, and they're getting some help from all the way across the country. Joining us now with more is Nick Voles. Nick, how did this whole thing come together?
Thanks, Coleen. This project began more than a year ago when iTech Prep partnered with the Fort Vancouver National Historic Site. The goal was to catalog artifacts from the fort for future generations to study, and it's really grown from there.
It's an exciting day in John Zingali's classroom at Vancouver iTech Preparatory. Students are anticipating the opening of this box. Inside, the results of over a year's worth of work. Last year, in a partnership with the Fort Vancouver National Historic Site, students got their hands on some historic trash.
Fort Vancouver, like in the olden days, they just throw their garbage outside the walls, and then Fort Vancouver just dug this up, and so.
A lot of the things that they had, I would never see today.
Next, they made 3D scans of the artifacts.
We had it down on this table, on this kind of mat thing, and then we used a special program with an iPad.
It was painstaking work requiring patience and a steady hand.
So it took, a few tries, but, it eventually came out just right.
The iPad app mapped out virtual reality replicas, which went on display in an online museum.
It's weird to think that this has become something so much greater. Like, this has been seen in over 20 countries.
One group who saw it was the nonprofit Washington, D.C.-based YouthQuest Foundation. They used iTech scans with their 3D printer to make replicas of the original artifacts. The teams shipped their replicas to Vancouver, and finally, iTech students got a look.
It's like really interesting, the whole process that I went through, and now it's like back here, but it's not like the real thing. It's really cool.
Replicas like these can allow visually impaired people to feel artifacts they can't see. The online museum allows anyone, anywhere, to get a glimpse of our region's history.
Technology just opens up so many new opportunities that historians 10 or 20 years ago would never have even been able to dream of.
And this project opened up opportunities for students.
It really communicates to the kids like how they really can change the world with just the click of a button and the spin of a camera.
If you want to take the virtual museum tour, it's easy to find on Google. The web address is a little long, so instead just type Fort Vancouver Virtual Reality into the search bar and it's the first option that pops up. Back to you.
Thanks, Nick. We have another story about students in technology. The Skyview High School robotics team, the Stormbots, just returned home from a trip to the World Championships. Amanda Richter joins us now. And Amanda, how'd the team do?
Thanks. The Stormbots had a very good trip to Texas, thanks to teamwork, both within their group and with other teams from around the world. The Stormbots have 55 members, and they've learned a thing or two about working together. Long after the school day is done, the Skyview Stormbots robotics team is still in the 600 wing. They've just returned from the first robotics World Championships in Houston.
It's definitely nerve-wracking there because there's so many competitive robots, so many amazing robots from all over the world.
The Stormbots teamed with 3 other squads to finish second in their group. Now they're already strategizing and planning for the next competition. The team is broken up into different groups. One group codes the robot, another builds it, and so on.
It's almost like a small business that has 7 different separate departments that have department heads, in this case mentors, that teach the kids how to do that.
Those mentors include Paul Strebig, an engineer at USNR.
Literally the first practice I was here, I was hooked.
He sees potential future engineers.
They're getting real life hands-on experience. They're not only are they actually designing, but they're designing, they're building, they're testing. More importantly, they're breaking and then figuring out how to get it better and do it over again multiple times.
But not everyone comes from a science or math background, like advisor Luke Glassett.
I'm a history teacher, and so it wasn't something that was natural for me, yet I really enjoy it, and so I like to bring other kids into it as well. I like to have kids that are STEM students and kids that aren't coming here and enjoying it.
We have a marketing team that focuses on volunteer work and designs our t-shirts, so they get a lot of experience that isn't just related to engineering.
All of these different personalities, perspectives, and skill sets require students to work not only with machines, but with one another.
I want to make sure everyone's doing something at once, that we don't have people sitting around, that everyone's having fun.
It's a really positive environment. The whole theme of FIRST is how to interact with people in both a competitive and a positive way.
For students like Kristen, the Stormbots team was an introduction to engineering, a gateway to friendship, and a path to college.
It's helped me pretty much every aspect of my life, with my confidence, my future.
The team says that this year's robot was likely their most complicated ever, and they hope to build on its success next year. They go to competitions all year long, so they'll have lots of opportunity. Back to you.
Thanks, Amanda. Science and robotics aren't just for high schoolers. At Sarah J. Anderson, the whole family got to take part in STEAM Night. That's science, technology, engineering, art, and math. We stopped in as the evening was just getting started. Families streamed in to see presentations from OMSI, the Mount St. Helens Institute, Northwest Noggin, and other local science-based organizations. But the highlight for many was the school's own robotics team in action.
I know that we're all very excited to show our robots because we've been working really hard. We had to work to take our iPads home to work on them many hours each day, and it's been really fun.
Many of these students will end up at Skyview someday, where they may join the Stormbots. The event had lots of hands-on activities to get kids excited about science and art, explore how the two can interact in the real world. If you want to see more stories of technology in the classroom, check out the VPS YouTube page. YouTube.com/VanSDTV is the address, and just look for the We Learn playlist. The annual luncheon for the Foundation for Vancouver Public Schools brought in a record amount of donations. It also drew an important guest. The Lieutenant Governor of Washington, Cyrus Habib, was the keynote speaker. Mr. Habib told his story of going through schools blind and how the foundation helps students like him find success. It runs a number of programs in our schools and relies on community support.
This is our largest community fundraiser. Without the proceeds from this event, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of what we're able to do to support students. Basic needs, emergency checkbooks at every school, engagement grants so that every school has funds to do something extra, and a lot in between.
More than 600 community members packed the ballroom at the Hilton, raising over $300,000, which shattered the all-time record. Fort Vancouver culinary arts students provided lunch, and entertainment came from a couple of different schools. The foundation raises money throughout the year to help students succeed, but sometimes it can be hard to visualize where that money actually goes. We asked several recipients of foundation support for their stories, and they were kind enough to share.
I'm very adamant about trying to make sure that they understand that's a safe place. Welcome, glad you're here. How are you? What can I do to help you?
Cindy Cooper runs the Family Community Resource Center at Fort Vancouver High School.
My role here in the building is to really work with both students and their families in just trying to help identify any sort of non-academic barriers to student learning.
This FCRC and others located throughout the district offer services supported in part by the Foundation for Vancouver Public Schools. FCRCs connect families with social services, food, clothing, emotional support, and more.
Sometimes it's just that connectivity piece of just being able to come in here, have a safe adult to be able to talk to.
The Resource Center has helped my family through struggles like some school supplies, some food, some counseling, like personal one-to-one counseling.
I used to come here for food and for clothes and for help, and if you need it like me as a haven, that also works.
It's a stable place within a school, something many students are lacking at home. The foundation works to assist there too with its Housing Stability Fund. School FCRCs are often the first point of contact for parents who need help.
I was in a very, very abusive relationship and I needed to get out. And the housing assistance people were able to help me afford first month's rent here so I could get the deposits and all that so I could leave that relationship.
The fund pitches in when times are tough so children can focus on their learning.
My daughter's blossoming because she no longer has all that stress and violence around her anymore. She's not afraid anymore. She's not crying all the time because she has a place that she can be safe. She can call home.
When home is stable and school is safe, children can overcome obstacles beyond their control and make their own future through education.
I'm just looking forward to graduating high school and heading to college because I want to make my mom proud.
Of course, these are just a few examples of how the foundation assists families in our community. To learn more, check out foundationforvps.org. And thank you so much to the people you just saw in that story for sharing their stories. Time now for a Reschools update, the latest on construction projects paid for by your bond dollars. We're getting some great photos coming in off of building sites, and here's a bird's eye view of the new McLaughlin Middle and Marshall Elementary schools. You can see there are now walls and a roof. The same is true at Vancouver iTech Prep. It's scheduled to open around December, and it's going to be a beautiful building when it's done. But it's not all brand new schools. Some projects, like at Harney Elementary, are about expansion. New classrooms will reduce the need for portables. At the new Ogden, the staff got its first tour of the new building, which is set to open in September. You can see by those smiles that the staff is very excited for the big move. There are a few ways for you to keep up with construction progress. The district website, vansd.org/reschools, has lots of information for you. Twitter users can also follow along at VPS _reschools. And of course, we will have video updates on this show and on our Facebook page. Every year, third graders from across Vancouver march through the Fort Vancouver National Historic Site, proudly representing their culture. And at this year's Culture Parade, they were joined by a very special guest. Nick Voll reports from the parade route.
As you can tell, we are here at the Fort Vancouver National Historic Site for the annual Culture Parade. Every third grader in Vancouver comes down here representing their culture in a huge parade. We also have a special guest today. Governor Jay Inslee will deliver an address to the crowd shortly. Here now are some highlights from today's parade. So why did you guys want to come down to the parade today?
So our daughter Madeline is in Franklin Elementary, so she's in the parade. She's representing Norway.
Why do you think it's important for kids to do a project like that?
It's integrated as opposed to just being worksheets, right? Like it's lots of different pieces that they're pulling together. And we all need to learn more about other cultures.
So what culture did your daughter study?
We are a multicultural family. She decided to do France. We are Cajun Creole from Louisiana, so she got to learn a lot about that, and this is a great introduction to that part of history for her. I think it's so important for kids to be able to express things about their culture. It's part of their identity, and she got to do that, and it makes her really proud, makes me feel proud of her.
What culture did you study?
Kazakhstan.
Is that where your family's from?
My mom's from Kazakhstan.
Okay. What's the most fun thing about this?
Marching and everybody looking at posters.
I want to know what the third graders think here in Vancouver. Could you clap if you love your teacher because they're doing such a great job for you?
Students from both Evergreen and Vancouver Public Schools march in the parade. May is Better Hearing and Speech Month, a time to raise awareness about communication disorders and how they're treated. In Vancouver Public Schools, dedicated staff help students remove those barriers to find success in the classroom. Joining us now to show us how is Tara Cox. Tara?
Thanks. Every school has a speech-language pathologist. Their job is to work with students one-on-one and with their teachers to help students overcome communication disorders. We stopped by at Salmon Creek Elementary to see how it's done. Speech-language pathologist Darcy Davis has perhaps the smallest office at Salmon Creek Elementary, but inside they're doing big work. Ms. Davis and her army of Mr. Potato Head dolls are working with students trying to correct speech issues.
Can you say, I eat lunch?
I eat lunch.
Good job, all right.
This session features two kindergartners, a boy and a girl, both named Kaylin. Kaylin G is working on saying her V sounds.
She's already saying it correctly in a word, and we're just using that in a sentence. So it just becomes more natural for her.
I eat vegetables.
Nice job.
Kaylin D has issues with the letter L.
He's just learning how to say that L and where he needs to put his tongue. So we were working on getting that tongue up right behind his teeth and making sure he says that little. Good, you say lemons are yellow.
Lemons are yellow.
Good job.
Ms. Davis creates individual education plans, IEPs, with teachers, so each student's needs are met.
Early intervention is best.
Some students need work on speech sounds. For others, it's stuttering, language comprehension, or overcoming a hearing loss. The goal is for students to work their way past their obstacles.
We graduate them out when they reach their goals and they're no longer in need of our services. They graduate or exit out of our program, and that's a really exciting time when they do that.
The individual connection between the SLPs and students and the classroom improvement is rewarding for everyone.
I love my job, I really do. I love working with the kids. I've been doing this for 31 years and just love every day.
The district serves students aged 3 to 21. And Ms. Davis was quick to point out that she's not alone in this work, that there are SLPs in every school who do a great job every day. Back to you.
Thanks, Tara. Students at Fort Vancouver High School are making an effort to help others in and outside of the school. Joining us now to talk about how they're doing that is our student reporter, Sergio Mayo.
Thanks. The Random Acts of Kindness Club here at Fort strives to help in and out of their community as much as possible, offering kindness to everyone. They know that their school community does not end at the front door. The club's message is to be kind and welcoming to everyone, no matter if they're fellow students or adults at school.
We can all come together and just have like a good safe space and just help others, and I think it makes me feel good.
Jonathan Schnacky, the club advisor, told me about his first time feeling loved at Fort and what made him want to start the club.
I was nervous at first, but my first day here, people were warm, were welcoming, and the people here at Fort are just amazing and lovely people. Recognizing people who just do even small little things of just holding the door or saying, hey, good morning, or hey, I'm glad you're here. So we would make surprises for them and say, thank you so much for doing what you're doing. Please keep it up.
Fort staff appreciate how the students are learning to see beyond their own needs.
I think it's an awesome program to teach kids to appreciate things that we don't always look at as, people are taking care of us and doing things for us.
We do the special ed class, or, this week we're gonna go help the homeless, or we do something for the teachers, or,
I went along with the club as they prepared care packages. These packages include basic hygiene products, clothes, and food. Packages in hand, they went to downtown Vancouver to share them with those in need. After, I asked to see how they felt about giving back to people in their community.
I feel good. Helping the homeless is always a good thing. Just trying to help someone in that situation, that's always a good thing to do.
The Random Acts of Kindness Club is very student-driven and has been going strong for the past 2 years. If any new students want to join, they're more than welcome. Back to you.
Thanks, Sergio. It's time for the big picture, our favorite image from social media. This one comes from Paul Manotsky, the welding teacher at Fort Vancouver High School. He captured this awesome shot of one of his students in action. Mr. Manotsky took over the welding program at Fort this year and has helped bring in industry professionals to give students career training. What a great picture. And let's take a look at what's happening in Vancouver Public Schools, and one of the biggest things is summer vacation. Now's the time to start planning your child's activities. If you need a place to start, check out vansd.org/summer activities. There is a huge list of fun things for the kiddies to do this year. That's about it for us. We'll have one more episode this year. It will come out on the last day of school, so keep your eyes peeled. For Nick Vole, Amanda Richter, Tara Cox, and Sergio Mayo, I'm Coleen Jamison, and we will see you next time.